Council had to make earlier before the meeting is that we have a separate night where we deal with this issue from 7 to 10 and let everybody speak for 3 hours.
Yeah, sounds
us,
good. Let's do it.
What's that?
10 minutes tonight, and then another 3 hours another
We're only
night.
allowed one speaker.
Yep, yeah, that's, well, two.
Okay,
It's
one
two.
speaker. No, one
Who
speaker.
planned two?
One speaker. You're not on the agenda. One speaker. Who is responsible? Mr. Chair, if I could receive the chair. I'll be happy to set that up with the group.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Colin.
Not in the agenda.
Don Hamilton should go for mayor.
Yes.
Don't think the mic is on. No, it is. Okay. Good evening, Chairman, Deputy Mayor, councilors, and staff. I don't see Mr. Beard here this evening, but
Will you say your name and your address?
yes, my name is Phil Richardson. I'm the president of the Markham Residents for Responsible Community Planning Association, and I've been here many times. But tonight, I'm going to speak about two bylaws in particular and some of the other issues. I think you're all familiar with the major issues that are of concern to our association. Overdevelopment, the building of a 28,000 square foot mosque on less than 2 acres, townhouses on 16th Avenue in Williamson, more townhouses and 2 condos on Highway 48. In short, incredibly dense and excessive development in the area. I'm going to get right to 2 bylaws that, as we have evolved in our analysis and research and discussions with development services, have become a central issue here. The first is bylaw 2003-301. That bylaw deals specifically with the parking requirements for places of worship. And I have written, we've spoken about this before. I wrote Mr. Baird, and that's why I asked if he was here tonight, or if someone from Development Services was representing him. I wrote him on December the 21st, and attached a study which we had done for us, we had prepared for us, of the Tedesco Traffic Impact Assessment, which was dated August 2010. And in that study that we did, we showed that the correct formula to determine the number of parking spaces in a place of worship based on the size of the area of worship is to divide by the area allotted per person, which is 0.75 square meters, not to multiply, which is in the bylaw. Mr. Beard was to respond to me. I haven't yet received his response. However, he was kind enough to send us the latest architectural drawings submitted by the developer's architect, which is Array International Architects, Inc. And we just got that yesterday. And so I burned the midnight oil, looking at the calculations and working this out. And guess what? It confirms all of the concerns that I expressed to Mr. Baird. And I'm just going to read you from my letter to him. A brief paragraph. Attached is a study conducted on our behalf of the traffic impact assessment prepared by Tedesco Engineering for the site developer. It points out numerous very serious flaws in that report, which throw the entire study into question and challenges major conclusions about traffic levels, parking requirements, and traffic signalization. I would ask that you review the study and put the site approval process on hold until you've done a complete review of the implications of the mistakes and errors in the Tedesco assessment and the impact of those on the recommendations for site approval. At this point, because this is my 6th appearance, or our association's 6th appearance at Town Hall, I also copied York Regional Development Services, Lloyd Che, who is the Director of Planning and Development Services for York Region. Because frankly, if we are not going to get satisfaction from this group, from our own council, then we're going to take this to the regional level and ultimately to the provincial level if we have to.
Time to appeal this approval, or was there any time to the OMB, or they can go any time? I think it's too late to go to the Ontario
But
Municipal Court.
we didn't, the facts have changed on a daily basis. 1,600 people to 534 people. I mean, it just keeps changing.
Chairman Jones, the fact is, and this is my final point on that particular bylaw, that it is a basic and fundamental mathematical error. The bylaw is based on incorrect math. It's in contravention of the Ontario Building Code. It's in contravention of the Toronto and Brampton jurisdictions, which have actual examples of how to apply the calculations to arrive at parking space requirements in a place of worship. And it has not been dealt with. It is flawed, and frankly, a bylaw that is based on flawed mathematics, logic, or law should be repealed and a new bylaw passed. In reviewing one of the drawings that Mr. Baird sent me, provided us with, to find out that on the one hand, the correct approach had been applied, which was to divide when there was a calculation of what was the total GFA, and therefore the number of required parking spaces. It was divided. That's 9 meters per individual, based on the total gross, total GFA of the building. Yet, when it came to the area of worship in a carpeted environment, carpeted area, the place of worship, it was multiplied. How can you do the opposite in the same formula in arriving at the number of parking spaces required? We believe very strongly, and we would like to handle this in an amicable and in a constructive way with development services. That's why I wrote to Mr. Baird and shared a study that we commissioned ourselves. And that's why he was good enough to respond by providing us with all this information. Unfortunately, the information that we provided with makes us even more concerned than we were before, because it shows that there is still a failure to accept and come to grips with the fundamental flaw in bylaw 2003-301. The other bylaw that I'd like to speak to is 2003-300. And that is, includes an amendment, Amendment 115, to the Planning Act. Now, on page 11, which is 2.1.1C, there are a number of clauses which deal. The heading is criteria for evaluating applications for places of worship, for place of worship approval. And specifically provided for in that section are items like number 4. The impact of the proposed place of worship can be effectively managed. There's a requirement of these points that I'm going to cite. The impact of the proposed place of worship can be effectively managed to mitigate any negative effects on the amenity of the surrounding area to an acceptable level, having regard to the type and character of surrounding uses and the possible impacts of the proposal on these uses with respect to factors such as noise and light, traffic, and parking. Next, the place of worship site has adequate and appropriate access for vehicles and is accessible by pedestrians. There's existing or future availability of public transport, etc., etc. But the next one, 6, the impact of the traffic generated by the proposed place of worship on the surrounding uses can be effectively managed to mitigate any negative impacts. That is a real concern with this project.
Bill, you're over your 10 minutes. Can you wrap up, please?
Okay. Well, I could go on for a long time, but let me just say that there are at least 2 or 3 additional points here in 2003-300 Amendment 115 that are contravened, in our view, by this site plan that was approved. Okay, and the changes to it that we've seen make absolutely no difference. In fact, it makes it worse because there's no progress. The other points that I would like to bring to your attention are the town traffic study.
I think we should wrap up. I think.
Well, just give me a few minutes, please.
Here's the next year. Come on.
You said it was you said democracy, right? Several times.
Democracy.
Democracy. Don't be hypocrite. You never came to our door and knocked on our door.
Where's the citizen council?
You didn't come to our door and knock on our door.
We have said earlier that we will convene a special meeting. The board councilors agreed. I know I'll be there, and I believe all members of council will be there.
When?
That we can deal with this issue separately for 3 hours.
When?
Put it on record.
I want to hear him finish. Is it going to be before the building code application gets approved? Are you going to give us time, the site plan? Are you going to give us time?
Mr. Chair, Annette, first of all, the mayor and the other 2 councillors are in India on business.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
So let's wait until they come back.
Yeah.
I think they're back in the next
New
day or
mayor.
2. I'll speak
New
to the
mayor.
There's a new mayor.
We'll
Come on,
I'll
Mr.
try and get-
Hamilton, step up.
Everybody's very busy, but I'll try and get a night when the vast majority, if not all of them,
Perfect.
are here. Okay, within the next 2 weeks, though.
And
And I guess-
can I ask a question, please, of
It's not
council?
too late.